Siyacela basemnyango bangene. Siyacela bangene ngaphakathi basemnyango siqhubekeni nomhlangano. Abangaphakathi bathathe ihlalo zabo. Councillors, please take your seat. We adjourned our meeting while I was inviting hands for councillors who want to engage the report on the draft budget. I will note those hands. But I'm waiting for you to take your seat. Those who are walking, please take your seat. Settle down and be quiet. Councillors, please take your seat, maintain order. Let me note hands for those who want to engage the report. I will start with Councillor Perte, you are number 1. Councillor Nkosi, you are number 2. Councillor Pillay, number 3. Then number 4 at back of Councillor Pillay on my far right. Yes, you're number 4. Then Councillor Mieni, Deputy Mayor, you are number 5. There are no more hands, eh? There are no hands. Right, then the mayor will be the last. Right, those are the hands that have, funungena, okay. That's fine, you are noted, Councillor Mvobu. You will be accommodated. Thank you very much. In that order, Councillor Perte, number 1.
Thank you very much, Chair. For those who don't have the fortune of having the new proposals in front of them, one would have to look at a 6.5% for rates, water 15% for residential, 16% for business, electricity 12.72%, sanitation coupled to water 13% for residential, 14% for business, refuse once again coupled 9.9% for domestic and 9% for business. Now, one would have to read these increases, although in some cases they might to some appear minuscule, to the fact that inflation...
Sorry, Councillor Perte. Sorry, from the sound desk. Can you please give us a roving mic to the speaker so that it can be audible, please? because the mic he's using is not audible enough. Can you please provide us with a roving mic? Or you fix the microphone? Councillor Kwala?
Sibong sibingelele. Ngicabanga ukuthi action eseyibicele i-caucus and ibingakabuyi uma uqala umhlangano. Balethe singabe ne-havoc. Awuyilungisele siyabonga.
No. I-action esikeze ngicela i-caucus icele uSpeaker ukuthi avumele i-council babugwala ukuthi engage i-report before by engage. Abacela nge-caucus, they just requested the Speaker to allow them time. We gave all political parties 15 minutes. Then we said at the expiry of the 15 minutes, council will resume. We made that clear to all of one.
Speaker.
Then if they want to participate, I will note their hands. Can you fix the microphone before Pakana Pekte?
Does that sound better?
Yeah, you're not yet, Councillor Mwangu. We will give you a chance to speak. All of you will speak.
Thank you, Chair. Let's hope this goes better with the new contract. As I was saying, these increases, although they might sound minuscule to some, one have to also overlay it with the inflation rate, where your core inflation is at 3.5%, and probably your headline inflation is projected to get to about 4.5%. It doesn't sound like this is much better than the other one, Chair. I don't know if it sounds better to you. Yes, we also hear that NERSA's got a 12.74%, and Umgeni Water is coming with 13.5%. I don't know, but this sounds even worse than the first one.
Emvaga.
A snake is upon me.
Before.
Right, is that better? Right, we take note of the fact that there is the projection of NERSA at 12.74% that aligns with what the municipality is also proposing, as well as Umgeni Water that comes with a 13.5% in comparison to our 15 and 16% respectively for water. But one would have to ask why the ratepayers of this city have to carry the burden for state enterprises and national service providers dropping the ball. At the end of the day, we have to pick up the slack on that. One must also have to take into consideration that we have to increase these or have to enforce these percentages to make up for what we lost. We've got 50%, 56% of non-revenue water that's going down the drain, and we've got no measure to understand or to measure how much of revenue, non-revenue water is being dispersed to each household on a daily basis, because there's no tanks or anything like that. The taps run as normal, but there's just no payment for it. We hear about this ever-changing water turnaround strategy, which on paper looks very nice, but for the last 3 years, it's yielded us no change whatsoever. On the contrary, our debt has just increased to 36 billion, and we can see where that comes from. It comes from household debt. People just cannot afford to pay the tariffs that we are pushing down on them. They cannot afford to pay for their water and sanitation. And the more we try to increase on the one side, the more we lose on the other side. It's by our own admission that the contributors to the fiscal are not increasing every year. The CFO admitted this morning, we are not increasing our rates base, but on the other side, we're also not doing anything to cultivate a habit of paying for services. This council has previously approved that there should be some contribution from all households towards services which will give people ownership of it, but we've not enforced that at all. You can only take blood from a stone, so much blood from a stone, then that stone is dry. Whether it's the AG, this morning the public protector, the presidential working group, all of them are in agreement. The city is broken and it's falling apart, and we need to fix it. And as much as the budget then, as tabled this morning, which did not give us much time to interrogate, put a larger portion towards water and sanitation. It comes at cost to those who are able to pay. We can see that we're losing revenue in our real estate market. We've got an exodus of people leaving the city to other parts of the city, the country, not because it's cheaper to stay there, but because things are working there. And then taking a leaf from somebody else, it says a certified customer will be a paying customer. But at the moment, with these increases that are way above the inflation rate, that are only set to those that can pay, to make them even more poorer, and to increase our debtors book by putting tariffs out there that people can just not afford. We need to cut away the fat. We need to cut away on the luxuries. We cannot afford in Bezos and the Drakensberg. We have to stay at home. And with that, with these on the table, the TA does not believe that we can support this as being in the very interest of the people of the city. The DA will not be supporting this as it stands today. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Mvubu.
Thank you, Chair. As the EFF, we note the draft budgets presented today. However, we have serious reservations about this. However, we will accept, Chair, that the draft must go out for public participation. However, when the final draft comes back to this council, we can confirm that we will not support this budget if it's not going to be reflective and deal with issues that are affecting our people on the ground. In particular, I will just highlight the community of Ward 74 and 75 in Lamontville. Those people have been sitting in those transit camps for over 10 years, I think, and that is inhumane. So I'm just making this example, but there are many other service delivery matters that we need to deal with before we can say that this budget is actually responding to the challenges and the hardships that are faced by our people on the ground. But in principle, we'll accept it must go out for public consultation, but we'll definitely keep a close eye on it to make sure that whatever these challenges that are faced by people in the wards find expression in these budgets. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Mvubu. Councillor Nkosi.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Firstly, we need to ask ourselves, do we understand the process? If we do, how come here and say no to public participation? That is the first problem that we need to deal with, because the item in front of us seeks for the permission that it needs to go out for public participation. It's not about us who are here. There are also structures outside the council who need to have an input in this budget. Then we can politicize whatever that we want to politicize when it comes back after the comments. Another thing is that if you say the city is broken, how then do you fix it if you don't support the budget? So there is a lot of problems that are within us that we need to address. Because you cannot say the city is broken, but we are not supporting the budget, so then it can be fixed. We are lucky in EThekwini's Honourable Speaker that even National Treasurer is supporting us to say, EThekwini, fix 1, 2, 3. We are behind you, all the department. So ours is to work together and ensure that we stop politicizing issues like water and other things. But instead of us, we need to ensure that we work together so then we fix whatever that is there. So as IFP, we support that the the budget must go out for public comments, and the lot that can change after the public consultation. Then that's why we can able to talk about a lot of things. And indeed, we're looking forward that this budget must accommodate the poorest of the poor on the ground. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Bonkosi. Councillor Mwango.
Speaker, I've got an amendment.
You've got an amendment. Okay. The amendment is on item 1, order councillors. Is on item 1, page 3. It reads as follows: that the proposed tariffs of 2025-2026, that water for residential and business be 13.5%, sanitation for both domestic and business be 5.1%, refusal for both domestic and business be 5%. Submitted by Councillor Mwango, seconded by Councillor Kupega. The proposed amendment is in line with the rules. What I will do, so that there's no confusion like before, Councillor Mwango will invite you just to briefly motivate the proposed amendment. After that, I will invite council to decide whether the proposed amendment is accepted or not. Just a brief motivation on the proposed amendment. Councillor Mwango.
Yeah, thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, first of all, I think we all understand that we have to present something for the public to engage on. It's for that reason that we can't just say we send the blanket document and say go and engage. So it's important as council, what exactly are we sending to the communities to engage on? So what we are proposing as Action SA, understanding that already our debt collection is affected by the cost of living. People can't afford to live in this city. So therefore our budget must consider the fact that the public out there and the ratepayers are really suffering. So in line with that, we are saying the rates, property rates, at least 5% is in line with inflation. There's a reason why we must go so high. Umgeni water is already giving us water by 13.5. So at least we are aligning with Umgeni water. Those who are paying for water. And also sanitation, we are saying increase of 5% is reasonable, in line with inflation as well, both domestic and business. And also the refuse collection, domestic and business, we are saying we are proposing 5%, which in line with inflation. So therefore, we believe that ratepayers will able to live with this proposed or revised tariff increase as opposed to the what is proposed currently. So we are appealing to council that says, let's consider that ratepayers are the one who suffers the most. So let's be careful in terms of how we increase our tariffs. And I believe that as Action SA, this proposal will be accepted by this council because we are all representing ratepayers of this seat. I don't see why anyone will object to that proposal. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. That is the motivation. Councillors, on the proposed amendment, is the proposed amendment agreed? Then may I have the screen, please? No movement. Secretariat, please check your position so that we are clear. Those who are in support, Councillor Mthethwa.
Tina, we a big caucus. decision-making has got to be endorsed by every member of the caucus. Can we be given like 3 minutes to caucus on this?
3 minutes granted.
Thank you. Because unlike Umwangu, we're not a one-man show, we're a bigger caucus.
Namhlanje uyala ngiyamboza kwenze njani?
Hey, yabona.
the DA to report on the outcome of their caucus. Nyambosa?
Thank you, Speaker. We have concluded our caucus. We are ready to proceed.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's conclude this item. We were about to vote before we go back on the substantive item and invite hands on the matter. I can see Councillor Nkosi and Councillor Madlala.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Before we vote, I just wanted to beg your indulgence that if it happened that we go as Umnwango is saying, what are the consequences? I'm asking this question from the people who will assist us, not to Tamsak. In terms of the deficit, is there any deficit that will require us, maybe in the next financial year, to go and borrow more money because of the decision that we may take here? Are we not also going against the MFMA, as the MFMA requires that this must go out for public consultation and then comes back? Just those few clarities. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Madlala.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I am partly covered by Councillor Nkosi. The draft budget is an outcome of a thorough, painstaking process by the officials that includes financial modeling, horse trading in terms of projects, looking at the sources of revenue, and it's an entire process. Now, when it comes to us, as it came today, it's for us to send it out for public comment, and as caucuses, we then have a right to then call the officials in our own caucuses and discuss these processes where we feel that the tariffs or other issues needs to be adjusted. We then present our proposals and we give the officials the opportunity to remodel so that they'll tell us what are we losing out of that process. Now, if we are emotional about it and we are just proposing, as Councillor Mkongo is proposing, we'll then come back and cry when certain projects that are included here on the draft budget are no longer implemented. We remember that in the recent years, when Councillor Kaunda was our mayor, we went out with a budget, proposed budget of around, I think, 67 billion. We then, through the public participation process, reduced the tariffs, and out of the budget that was projected, we lost R500 million. Now, it's R500 million lost, but it's also tangible projects on the ground that were on the budget that needed to be withdrawn because of that we tempered with the tariffs. Now, I'm not advocating that we should not temper with the tariffs. I'm saying let's allow the process. And if we do it, let it be an outcome of the process, not just on a whim as we are trying to do now. Therefore, as the ANC, we are going to reject the proposal from Councillor Mnwango, Neskecha and Anasolapa. Thank you.
Okay. This is a very important item, councillors, but I want us to be procedural. A proposed amendment has been tabled by Councillor Mnwango. It has been motivated. We have to decide whether Council accept the proposal or not. Then after that, we'll go back to the substantive item. I will continue with the hands that I've noted earlier to engage the report. That's why I invited my team to give me the screen so that those who are supporting the proposed amendment, please raise your hands. Secretariat, those who are supporting the proposed amendment. Senkatien. Right. Thank you. Those who are voting against the proposed amendment, please raise your board. Thank you. Those who abstain. ATM, comment, vote again. Support, abstain, no?
You vote against.
Okay. Thank you. Those who are in support of the proposed amendment, the number is 50. Those who voted against, the number is 102. Those who abstain, the number is 14. It means the proposed amendment has been rejected. Thank you very much, Councillor Mwango. I'm on you on the substantive item. Before Councillor Pillay, then those few hands. Mwango?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's unfortunate that the council failed to make a sober decision because this budget need to go for public input.
Point of order. Dlala.
Sewonga Honorable Speaker. Ama rules council ati aliki council elivumelekile ukuthi lenze ama remarks at disparaging noma that seeks to besmirch image yelinye council. Now uMncwango allege ukuthi i-council decision yayo is not sober, ukuthi we are drunk and you should withdraw that.
Yeah, your point of order, Councillor Madlala, is sustained. You must mind your language, Councillor Mwango, as you proceed with your debate, but firstly withdraw your first utterances and proceed.
Okay, I withdraw my so.
Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, one must say, it is very important to understand that when we talk about public participation, we table this budget, and as councillors, we must also understand the frustration that ratepayers are already facing. Already as councillors, we see these reports that it's very difficult for people in Durban to even reside here. And the way we continue, we're gonna see ratepayers living in EThekwini to other cities because it's becoming more expensive to live in EThekwini. So therefore, as Action SA, we find it very difficult to support this draft budget. While we understand, we support public participation, but the budget itself we can't support.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Ndlovu.
Thanks, Speaker. The problem that we have, Ileuguti, want to differ from what Councillor Mnong is saying. Asikwazi ukuzingela siphethe usawoti. So we are saying let us allow the process to continue of engaging on the draft budget. As the EFF, we do have our own reservations and proposals that we want to make. But we feel the process must allow us to engage and to make those proposals, bring them in this council for adoption or rejection. So that's what we are saying as the EFF. Let us just allow the process, as much as we do have our own reservations and proposal for the council to make or the community to engage on those proposals. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Pillay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Firstly, I will state from the outset, the DLC will not support tariff increases. The reason why we never support the reduction in tariff increases, because remember, this must be a balanced budget. Once a proposal was made to reduce the tariff increases, there was no proposal to state from where that money, the difference in the money will come out from which infrastructure development. Therefore, we didn't support that. Secondly, this budget has great infrastructure developments, but tariff increases, unfunded mandates of 1.2 billion rand, and the water loss of 56% literally undermines the process of this budget. However, today, we're not passing the budget. Today, the budget is in its raw form, draft budget, that's going out to the public for their participation. So, no ways is any one of us going to say we're supporting this budget. Okay. But we're supporting the fact that the process must go through and public participation must be real, it must be fruitful.
Yeah, the time is monitored here.
Mr. Speaker?
Yeah, proceed.
Yes, the public participation must be real and genuine. That's how the DLC would like to see this budget happening. Thank you.
Okay, Freedom Front Plus.
Thank you, Chair. 2021, we borrowed 1.5 billion for 17 dysfunctional power plants. Last year, end of last year, the Attorney General presentation cited unauthorized, illegal, fruitless, wasteful expenditure at 2.4 billion. That was the end last year. This year, we want to borrow another 1.5 billion that we can pay off over 15 years. Our debt is sitting at 35 billion rand on a budget of 62 billion. So half of our, more than half of our budget is outstanding debt, where 75% of that is household debt. The ANC wants to go and borrow money, more money, pay off over 15 years, where in 2 years' time you're going to be voted out. And we're going to sit with your debt. To the other councillor, you fix it by stopping the corruption. And yes, I am emotional about this. This is a lot of money we are talking about here.
Thank you.
The Freedom Front will not support this.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor with 2 minutes donated by the ANC.
Speaker, can I speak first?
No. Order. Councillors, I invited hands earlier, then I noted hands. You decided not to indicate if you want to speak. You should have indicated earlier, councillors, that you want to speak. Because now we're in the middle of debate. I can see there are 2 hands, but I will see whether you are accommodated or not. Deputy Mayor.
Sibonga somlomo umonakalo esiwulungisayo kunezinto ekufanele uma sikhuluma ngebudget sizibeke eqolweni ukuthi in terms of economic growth in our country we got challenges and we also have impact on the geopolitical discourse, and it's very important when we look at this issue to put it into context that this is the government of the people, by the people. We are saying the mayor of the city will be moving in all 110 wards to say this is a project, but also saying as National Freedom Party, we also understand the economic challenges that are facing our people. kunozakwethu lapha okhulume ongekona. Uma sikhuluma ngokuthi kunenselelo ekhona kwezomnotho, ingane kuphela engaboni. Kodwa however, uma sikhuluma ngeproposed budget, kufanele siphinde futhi sibafundise abantu bakithi ukuthi cycle ihamba ibhekephi. As a National Freedom Party, sitha ihambe iproposed budget abantu ngoba lo hulumeni owabantu siyabonga.
Councillor Maharaj.
Thank you, Speaker. I just wanted to say that the minority front does not support the tariff increases for water and electricity and sanitation as contained in this budget, and there are many other items that we don't support, but we support the process that it must go out for public participation. Thank you.
Councillor Mvubu.
Thanks, Chair. I just want to echo the same sentiments that we do support the process of the budget to go out for public participation. We don't want to be like our colleague, Councillor Mngam, to put the cart before the horse. This is still going to be debated and discussed in public participation. But I also need to remind him as well, because we must not only just speak rhetoric and grandstand without any factual basis of what we are saying. In Twan, where they have a mayor of Action SA, they've just increased the tariffs there, which shows that whatever this is raising here is being opportunistic. So we are not saying that we are in full support of what is being proposed here, but we are saying people of EThekwini are going to be given an opportunity to participate in this budget process. So he must not distort, because I can say now, the media statement is almost ready. So
Order, Speaker.
Point of order. Point of order.
But we are saying that
Point of order, Mvubu. Councillor Mvubu.
Order, Speaker. I think it's incorrect for the Speaker to mislead the House. So I have decreased the property rates by 4%, not increased. He must go and search.
Thank you.
Decreased.
Thank you. Order. Councillor Mandala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Order. Order. Councillor Mvubu. Order.
As the ANC, we want to support this draft budget for 2025-26 financial year for public consultation. This budget reflects a clear commitment to service delivery, economic growth, and well-being of our communities. It prioritizes the critical infrastructure, ensures financial sustainability, and takes into account the difficult economic conditions that many residents are facing. One of the key aspects of this budget is its responsiveness to the cost of living pressures experienced by the households. The ANC welcomed the city's decision to push back against the 13.5 bulk water tariff increase from Umgeni Utsugen, advocating instead for a reasonable increase. This demonstrates a firm commitment to balancing financial sustainability with affordability, ensuring that essential services remain within reach of our residents. We also acknowledge the municipality's careful approach to proposed tariff increases. While necessary for sustainability, these adjustments are designed to ensure that essential services continue uninterrupted while also protecting the most vulnerable of our communities. In this regard, we welcome the adoption of the indigent policy and other social programs aimed at alleviating the plight of the poor. These interventions reaffirm the city's commitment to ensuring that no resident is left behind. Another important feature of this budget is the municipality's commitment to participation as approved by that is going to be approved by this council. By the opening of the draft budget for consultation, EThekwini is ensuring that the voices of our residents, business and stakeholders are heard. The ANC strongly believes that the participatory governance approach, where the people help shape the policies and financial plans that affect their daily lives. The budget also takes a firm stance in addressing external cost pressures, such as ESCOM's electricity tariffs increase and also that of Umgeni water Utsugen. The ANC welcomes the municipality's proactive approach in challenging these hikes through SALCA in the Water and Sanitation Department. The investment in new infrastructure remains a key pillar in this budget, not only enhancing service delivery, but also expanding the city's revenue base. In this regard, we welcome the ring-fenced additional water and sanitation grant announced by the Minister of Finance, although it's not going to be featured in the draft budget, but we know that it exists and we welcome it because it's going to resolve some of the problems that some of us are crying about even those who are not going to approve the budget to fix it. Ultimately, the draft budget lays a solid foundation for the continued development of EThekwini. It ensures that resources are allocated wisely, that service delivery is enhanced, and that financial decisions are made with transparency and accountability. We support the passing of this draft budget on the premise that as councillors will be the first one to engage with this budget so that we input in all the areas, especially the areas around the issues that were raised in our wards through the CPP, so that they are featured in the that is going to go out for public participation. The ANC supports.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Mayor.
Thank you very much, Speaker. And we are not voting against Mr. Mwango's, Councillor Mwango's proposal, but we are protecting.
May you please speak closer to your microphone?
But we are protecting the process. Councillor Mwango is jumping the gun, is being opportunistic. He must not deny the public to have their own say. This is a draft budget that is being taken out for public participation. On the substance, and of course, responding to what Councillor Berger said earlier on, the city is a price taker here. The electricity and water boards are passing these hefty increases to the city. SALCA is busy engaging with the Minister of Water and Sanitation. We await a decision in this regard. She is yet to respond to the objections raised by SALCA. She has until tomorrow to respond. Coming to the actual increases that we're talking about, the proposed electricity tariff increase is 12.72% for business and residential consumers. The ESCOM increase was 11.32%, which translates to 1.4% increase by the municipality. When it comes to water, the proposed water tariff increase is 15% for residential consumers and 16% for consumers. The proposed Ungeni Utugela water board increases is 13.5%, which translates to an increase of 1.5% for residential consumers and 2.5% for business by the municipality. If we go by the proposal that the retired engineers, we have also accepted the principles of the plan and have made valuable contribution. The National Treasury, like what Councillor Madala has just said, has introduced what is known as performance-based incentive. And for those who are able to deliver on the trading services and reforms. And in this regard, tapping into the incentives that Treasury has put forward, the municipality will receive 3.3 billion rand for trading services and the reforms in 2025, 2026, and over the MTA period. These will be utilized to ensure sustainability of our trading services by focusing on infrastructure replacement. So we're taking out this budget to the public for consultation, surely, and it will come back, of course, different in its own content. So let's not tell the public that this is final, and it's going to be final once they have commitment. This is our democracy, is both representative and public participation. The Constitution is very clear that in decision making, all the legislative bodies must facilitate public involvement, and as it were. So what we're doing now, we're doing exactly what the Constitution is asking us to do, to facilitate public involvement in the decision making of the city. We're not that we're happy with what is being proposed and by Ungeni, not that we're happy with what is being proposed by the ESCOM, but we're taking it out for public consultation. And we'll also engage Ungeni, we'll also engage the ESCOM so that they also see if they cannot absorb these increases within their own budget sheets. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Yeah, thank you very much, Your Worship. Councillors, are the recommendation agreed?
No.
Let me have the screen, please. No movement. Secretariat, please take your positions. Are we ready? Okay. Those who are in support of the recommendation, please raise your vote. Those who are in support of the recommendations, make sure that we are counted.
Phakamisa Mnqango.
And written? Yeah, those who are voting against, please raise your vote. Those who are voting against. Those who abstain, please raise your vote. Those who abstain, there's none. Those who are in support of the recommendations, the number is 118. Those who voted against, the number is 49. Those who abstained, the number is 0. The recommendations have been carried through. Just give me 1 minute. Councillors, I'm sure we have noticed that in our agenda we've only dealt with 2 items. The first item on the ordinary agenda and this item on the draft budget. Only 2 items that we've dealt with. The time now is 2:30. Now, it's obvious that we won't be able to conclude all the items in the agenda today. Now, what's going to happen, we are going to break for lunch now. We are expected to be back at 3:15. Now, while we are going out for lunch, I request all whips of parties to come to the podium so that we have a discussion on how to guide the meeting after lunch. We are now breaking for lunch. Let's come back at 3:15. Thank you. Siyalimala esikhathini kakhulu. Yeah. Councillors, please take your seat. We have to continue with our meeting.
Councillor Dr. Mia. Councillor Dr. Mia, take your seat, please.
Councillors, let's continue with our meeting. Councillors, as I've indicated earlier, that we are going to rearrange our items in the agenda, because of time. After we've reprioritized items, I want to read those items so that you note items that will be considered in today's council meeting. We are going to convene a council meeting in the mid-April to consider all other items that we could not deal with in today's meeting because of time. In the main agenda, on page 26, we are going to deal with item 3.1. That is the main agenda. Then page 28 is 3.4. Page 57 is item 1.5. Page 60, moving fast, okay. Page 28 is 3.4. ICR reprioritization. 57 is 1.5. Budget statement. Page 60, review of tariffs, item 1.11. 1.11. Page 60. Page 62, 1.12. Page 65, 1.13. Page 67, 1.15. Page 70, 1.16 on draft credit control. Page 75, 1.17. Too much. Hey, my name is Kuli Gasasel. Yeah, but also share if ne reduce some speakers, so she's good. So she's good if you reduce speakers. Upay 75 Mushil 1.17, Upay 77 is 1.18. Yeah, page 77, item 1.18. Page 81, on the draft indigence, item 1.19. This is page 81. Yeah, I'm not joking. On page 88 to 2.1, review of domestic tariffs. 2.1, page 88. Page 90, 2.2. Satyane main agenda skafiki was supplement. Page 91, item 3.1.
Sorry, Speaker.
Yes, Kazamwa.
Just for clarity, Speaker, because we've just already voted on the draft budget. Now I see again we're going to be voting on a domestic refuse tariffs. I want to make duplicates. Can I get clarity on that one? Because I see it's already done on the main on the budget. Is that what the
The item that were on draft budget have been approved.
Yes, but now I see like
there are specific items that have been identified here. Maybe there's a reason. Where is your full city manager? Or yeah, Councillor Mwango, I'm being guided here by legal that we are correct. There's no need to include those items here because already they've been dealt with. Yes. Yes.
Sorry, Speaker.
This is the list from CFO, I assume, City Manager. Okay. Basis of oh, okay. City Manager is confirming that there's a duplication. Those items will be removed. Once I've concluded to read all the items, I will therefore tell you which item that will be removed from the list I'm reading now after the CFO and City Manager have considered what Councillor Mwango was saying. They are correct. We are going to exclude all those items. Thanks, Councillor Mwango. I was on page 91, page 94, 3.4, page 96, 1.1. On the same page 96, item 2. On page 99 is 1.1. On page 100, item 1.2. Page 102, item 1.3. Page 104, item 2.2, page 105, item 3, page 108, item 4, page 111 is item 5. Those are the items, councillors, on the main agenda. Yeah, I'm afraid it is still long. On the supplementary agenda, we are now moving on the supplementary agenda. We'll start on page 3. With item 1.1. Page 5, item 1.2. Page 14, item 1.7. Page 21, item 3.3. Yeah, page 21 is 2.3 item. Page 56 is item 5.1. No, I made a mistake. Page 56 is item 3.9. Apologies. Page 56, the item is 3.9. Is page 66, over item 5.1. Page 66, the item is 5.1. Page 67, the item is 5.2. Page 68, the item is 6. Page 74, item 8. Page 76, item 9, page 79, item 10. Then on the last ESCO report that was emailed to you earlier, including the draft budget, there was a report that is item 2 for the request to support the hosting of a G20. We're going to deal with that item as well. I suggest, City that we start with that item. On page 79. Oh, okay. There are standalone reports, MPEC reports, and the in-committee items that have to be dealt with. Yeah, councillors, that's how we're going to continue with our meeting. Only these items, then we will deal with other items in a meeting that will be convened in the mid-April. City Manager, on the third supplementary report of the executive, let's deal with the G20 report, then we'll come back to the main agenda and continue with all the items.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Item number 2, request to support hosting of a group of 20 activities for the month of April 2025. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Councillors, are the recognition agreed? Thank you very much. We will now go back, Sompisi, to our main agenda as outlined, page 26, item 3.1.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Page 26, item 3.1. Speaker.
Okay. Apologies, councillors. I'm being assisted here by legal that in the list of items that I've identified, there are items that have already been approved when we're dealing with the budget. I want to highlight those so that you remove them in that list that it was submitted to me earlier, including the item the city manager is now reading. Let's start from the main agenda. From the main agenda, we are now removing items. I'm wasting your time. Huh? Must I say it? Okay, I'm being guided here by council that knowledge content. Then when we are in that item with us, it means CFO, city manager, just indicate, if we are in those items, just give the speaker a signal, then we will jump. Now it means page 26, item 3.1. We are not dealing with that. City manager, let's go to page 28, item 3.4.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Page 28, item 3.4, proposed intergovernmental relations 2024-2025 capital budget reprioritization committee recommends.
Thank you very much. There's only one speaker here, ANC, Councillor Kuzwayo. Thank you very much, councillors. Are the recommendation agreed? Thank you. Page 57, city manager, item 1.5.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Page 57, item number 1.5, budget statement report for the month ended 30 November 2024, committee recommends.
There are no speakers on this item. Are the recommendation agreed, councillors? Thank you. Page 60, item 1.11.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Page 60, item 1.11, review.
Sorry, Speaker.
Yeah,
yes,
this one is the same.
For record, Speaker, the items for noting, because for record you said approve.
Okay.
The previous one.
Okay, thank you. We are now moving to page 62, item 1.12.
Correct. It's also a tariff, Speaker.
$1.
Yes.
Now it means we're now on page 65, 1.18.
Page 65, 1.18, its budget statement report for the month ended 31st January 2025, committee recommends.
Thank you very much. Councillors, are the resolution noted? Page 67.
Page 67, Honorable Speaker, item 1.15, draft EThekwini Municipal rates policy for 2025-2026 financial year, committee recommends.
Thank you. I've got 5 speakers. Councillor Alipen, number 1, Councillor M. Stole, and Councillor Singh, and the Mayor, Councillor Taba. Councillor Alipen?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm covered by the Mayor.
You're covered by the Mayor? Okay. Okay, you like that. Then Councillor M. Stole.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I will cover the Mayor.
Okay, the Mayor will cover. Councillor Singh? Councillor Bissing, DA.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I propose a reference back.
You are proposing a reference back. May I have the form, please? There is a proposal for reference back on page 67, item 1.15, which read as follows: rate relief to allow vulnerable citizens to be granted rebates on income threshold instead of property threshold. By Councillor Singh, seconded by Councillor Tipo. This is a proposal. Approaches. This is a proposal, councillors, to refer this item back to the committee. Is the proposal to refer back to committee supported? Okay, let me have the screen, please.
Mr. Speaker, don't I motivate for the reference back?
Yes, you will motivate. Yes, you will motivate.
But you can't take the vote before I motivate.
Okay.
I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, you cannot take a vote before I motivate for the reference back. Thank you.
Yes. No, you have to wait for us to guide the meeting. Don't rush us. Don't rush us. Don't rush us. Councillors, order, please. Councillor Singh, can you briefly motivate for why you propose the fence back?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I know I'm a bit fast, but I'll go slow. The Mayor, during the Finance Committee workshop held in February, stated, and I quote, "We are showing that we are a caring city." Councillor Madladla was on East Coast Radio on Wednesday, the 19th February 2025 at 7:36 a.m. and echoed this sentiment, saying we are a caring city. However, the draft rates policy reveals serious issues that must be addressed before it is finalized. These issues highlight the disconnect between the city's proclaimed values and the reality faced by vulnerable citizens, particularly senior citizens. The current policy provides rates relief to senior citizens aged 60 and older, but only if the value of their property falls below a threshold determined by the annual budget. This arbitrary restriction unfairly excludes many elderly residents whose properties exceed this value, forcing them to pay full rates despite meeting the personal criteria for old age pensioners who have lived in their homes for decades and rely on a limited monthly income. This policy creates an unbearable financial burden, threatening the security and the ability to remain in their homes. The DA believes this policy is unjust. Relief should be based on income, not property value, as it would be equally unfair to grant rebates to pensioners with significant monthly incomes, while denying relief to those struggling to make those end meets. The scrapping of the property value threshold and introduction of an income-based threshold would ensure fairness and inclusivity for all qualifying residents. City officials should carefully consider our concerns and take into account the issues raised when the final policy is presented to Council for approval. It is crucial that they listen to the community's input and ensure that policy reflects the needs of all residents, particularly the most vulnerable. By doing so, they can create a policy that truly serves public interest. While the policy is still in its draft form, city officials have the opportunity to revise it. The policy should be amended to include senior citizens, individuals receiving grants, those who also receive a temporary grant, those who are medically warded and child-headed households, regardless of property value. Additionally, applicants should be assessed based on the income to ensure that fair and equal treatment for all. This approach will promote equity and ensure that relief efforts are accessible to those who need them most. I call on all councillors to come together in support of this reference back, which prioritizes compassion, social justice, and equality. If this proposal is rejected and the city proceeds with its current rates policy for 2025-2026 in its draft form, without these critical changes, it will be clear that the city's claim of being Africa's most caring city is nothing but more than empty rhetoric. In such a case, the mayor of this city, when he is delivering his budget speech, should deliver it on a dairy farm to symbolize the city's commitment to milking ratepayers dry. Furthermore, the city must remove the banners displayed at every meeting proclaiming its commitment to becoming Africa's most caring city. These banners ring hollow when the city continues to judge its most vulnerable citizens by the value of their properties, and this should be overvalued. A truly caring city would prioritize the well-being of its elderly and vulnerable citizens, ensuring that no one is forced out of their home due to unfair and unaffordable rates. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Singh. That is the motivation for the reference back. Councillors, is the proposal to refer this item back supported? No. Let me have the screen, please. Secretariat, please, no movement. Secretariat, please take your positions so that you assist us in this process. Thank you. Those who are in support of the reference back, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. Those who are voting against, please raise your board. Those who are voting against, the reference back. Right. Thank you very much. Those who abstain? Those who abstain? Right. Yeah, thank you. Order councillors. Those who are in support of reference back, the number is 45. I'm sorry. Those who are in support, again, the number is 45. Those who voted against, the number is 92. Those who abstain, the number is 12. It means the reference back have not received the majority support of council. Thank you very much. Councillor Singh on the substantive item.
Chair, I'm covered, thanks.
You're covered, okay. Then the last speaker is the Mayor, Your Worship, Councillor Baba, last speaker.
Sorry, Councillor Stolia. when she said she was going to cover the mayor, she meant she was going to speak in my place. Councillor Strong.
Okay. Councillors, we are on page 65, item 1.15. The recognition agreed. Thank you, City Manager. Page 70, item 1.16.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We now go to page 70, item number 1.16, draft EThekwini Municipality credit control and debt collection policy for 25-26 financial year. Committee recommends.
Thank you, City Manager. I've got 3 speakers in my list. Councillor Anipen, number 1. Councillor Kasa, ANC, number 2. His Worship the Mayor, number 3, and the last speaker. Councillor Anipen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the formation of any policy must be informed by the realities faced by the people on the ground. This is a fundamental principle of governance. We exist only at the mercy of the people. The credit control and debt recovery policy should speak to the needs of the people of the city foremost before finding means to recover debt through draconian laws and legislation. In many ways, the policy is counterproductive in that it allows for paying customers who are willing to make agreements and sign credit authorities not to do so. The policy also lacks consideration for civic bodies, NPOs, and NGOs. Mr. Speaker, while the IFP appreciates the option of a debt recovery method via a prepaid system, history has taught us that proper planning and all the necessary scenarios must be envisaged before offering these options to vulnerable customers. The IFP believes that customers who use services must pay for them. In light of these views, Mr. Speaker, and in light of other observations, the IFP will support the recommendation, but also encourages civic bodies, ratepayer bodies, and the like to make vigorous and strong recommendations to the policy so that a proper full consultation process is done and all ratepayers are considered in this regard. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nepen. Councillor Kasa.
Siyabonga kakhulu somlomo njengokhomolo kakhulu le report izolekelela kakhulukazi abantu bakithi abacwile ebuletini ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi nxa siqoqa ikweletu sibe cognizant ukuthi bantulile izosilekelela kakhulu ke ukuthi sikwazi uqoqa kahle ikweletu zethu take into account ukuthi abantu bakithi bahlwembu ngendlela eziningi ezahlukene ngakho ngokholo siyayisupporta le item.
Thank you very much, Your Worship, the Mayor.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and the Mayor is covered.
Thank you very much, Councillors. Are the recommission agreed? Thank you, City Manager. Next item.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Page 77, item 1.18, progress report for 1.5 billion rands borrowings for capital projects. Committee recommends.
Page 77, item 1.8,
1.18.
1.18, yes, thank you. 3 speakers, Councillor Mwango, Councillor Nyanisa, ANC, Councillor Story, ANC. Mwango? Okay, Councillor Nyanisa? Ageko, Councillor Story? Covered. Councillors, are the recommendation agreed? Thank you, City Manager. Next item.
Page 81, item 1.19.
Speaker.
Yes, Nyambosa. Sound here too. Okay.
I'm not sure why it's only our sound that is not. Maybe there's a thing about it, sabotage. But when I take you back to page 70, item 1.16, we are voting against that.
Action
Page
is
70.
Yes.
Okay.
77, Speaker.
Okay. Okay, thank you. City Manager, we are on page 81 now, eh?
Yes, page 81.
Item 1.19.
Yes.
Okay. Councillor Jane Naidu,
Thank you, Speaker.
you want to make a... Okay.
Speaker,
Sorry. Councillor J, you are number 1. Councillor PD, TC number 2. ANC Nyanisa number 3.
Speaker,
Yeah, those are the speakers here.
have we dealt with page 77, item 1.18?
You say... No, you never mentioned 1.77.
I'm mentioning it now.
Yeah, Nyambos.
We did.
Speaker.
Yeah, Nyambos.
No, but Speaker, actually, you've got to be considerate of the fact that
Order.
you've rearranged the agenda.
Order, councillors, order. No, I understand, Councillor Nyambos, your concern. The reason why I highlighted these items to your whips, I wanted them to inform you in advance. And formally in council, I listed all these matters so that you arrange yourself in terms of voting. Let's not repeat Nyambos what we are doing in the remaining item, but I take your point what we are saying.
Item 1.18, we are voting against that as well.
All right. City Manager, we are on page 81, item 1.19. Councillor Jane Naidu, you are the first speaker.
thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the city has for too long wasted time with a fragmented and ineffective indigent policy which had minimal impact. A growing population can be found languishing without financial relief and basic services. The IFP has, over a long period of time, raised the inefficiencies with the policy itself, as well as its implementation and reach. This is due to a number of shortcomings: the lack of capacity within the OSS structure, and having one social worker to assess households in 111 wards caused a backlog with the processing of indigent applications. Capping the valuation of properties at 650,000 was a skewed criteria that excluded people socially and economically and shut the door on those who may have built a house for 2 million whilst working and are now unemployed. These challenges find expression with the city having registered a meager 300 indigent households. This is certainly not a true reflection of the city's poor. A minimum of 30,000 beneficiaries are required for a credible indigent register. Every municipality has in its budget an equitable share and an indigent component. In the absence of a credible register, EThekwini lost the subsidy and neglected the poorest of the poor. Speaker, with the notable amendments in the policy review, the IFP calls for widespread education on the indigent program and an allocation of resources to capture all indigent households. The IFP will support this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Pillay. Next speaker. Osepumele. Councillor Nyanisa. Okay. Go on.
Yabonga Somlo, as the ANC siyayisupporta and sifisa ukuthi siqhubekele phambili nale indigence policy as abantu kuyibona abaqala abakhuluma le language yale indigence policy, but ke sifisa ukuthi siyenze in line with imithetho singazi nje siqhube phambili singabi in line with imithetho elawula lo mkhandlu. Singenzi indani ngibona bengikhomba hlala ngazi ikhondwani bala singenzi into engekho in line with our policies. Sonke siyafisa ukuthi isheshe ngoba yayizwa ke uhlangane ukuthi ama isili ikhona abantu engazobakhava. Yebo ufanele ukuthi siqale somewhere ngendaba yesling of the amount of properties ukuze sikwazi ukuqhubekela siphambili. Njoba kuyipolicy ke ingekho cut and stone, uma sibona ukuthi kuneyinkinga nama challenges ngaba ngela platform siphinde sithi la ina watalent khona. With bear in mind ukuthi lo mkhandlu is in South Africa. The South Africa that is governed by a capital system. Engeke njeke kuwaba umahala kawonke kufuna sibheke ukuthi umkhandlu nawo futhi uyaphila ukuze lo mkhandlu singawuwisi kodwa nabantu bakhona futhi befundiswe ba-understand ukuthi kuba ne-property la kufanele kwenzekeni uma izinto zishintsha nawe kufanele ushintshe to meet your scale of finance ungabi phezulu kodwa ungabusafuni ukwehla like umuntu othi mina sengihlale eWestville angifuni lo mthatho awungikhavi angifuni ubuyele eClermont kuyofanele ukuthi umuntu a-adjust the life uma ngabe ifinance zakhe zingasamvumeli ukuze lo mkhandlu wethu nawo uqhubeke uphila singawisi. Ngiyabonga Somlomo.
Thank you very much, councillors. The resolution agreed.
Mr. Speaker.
Fair pass abstains.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, there's a hand, Councillor Kwala.
Sorry, Speaker. With regards to the item, we have two speakers. It was Councillor Jane Naidu and Councillor Anepe. Can you please check?
It's only
Speaker?
Jane Naidu, unfortunately.
On page 81.
Yeah, there's not. I'll get one pen now. Yeah, okay. Okay, DA?
Thank you, Speaker. We also had Councillor Singh to speak on this item.
You also Councillor Singh? Okay, okay. Both of them are not in my list, but because in the list that Berlin have, those names appear, I will accommodate both of you because in the original list, those names are there. It's only in my list where I don't have those names. Councillor Anepen will be the first, then Councillor Singh will follow after Anepen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the indigent policy in EThekwini remains crucial to providing relief to the poorest of the poor in our city. While the IFP believes that we must make these provisions, it is also of the view that the process must be sustainable. Let us note, Mr. Speaker, that governments have no money except for the money it takes from its citizens through rates and taxes. If governments want to spend more money or write off debt for services used, that has to be recovered by services paid for by the paying customers. In this regard, more must be done to ensure that the applications that are done for indigent support are concluded in a speedily manner. In its present format, the policy remains silent on a turnaround time for processing applications. As a result, residents have been waiting as far back as 2021 for an outcome. This means that the debt continues to grow without the prospect of when the application should be processed. The policy should ensure that a time frame is inserted to make this clear. Furthermore, upon applying for this indigent support, customers should be given an opportunity to acknowledge that the debt will be ring-fenced and advised that the application will only be considered provided that subsequent bills are paid for pending an outcome. This will ensure that there is still an income from our residents. It will also create a sustainable fiscal environment. Customers who use services, Mr. Speaker, must pay for it. More so, Mr. Speaker, the city must have a signed MOU or MOA with the Department of Social Development and other social worker bodies to assist with social worker assessments. A clear indication of the value threshold or the value thresholds should be included in the policy. The special circumstances clause available to senior citizens should also be afforded to the unemployed, disabled, and child-headed households. The policy stipulates that prepaid meters for electricity will be installed, but the policy is silent on who covers the cost for these meters. And the electricity unit needs to come forth with a vote number on this matter. With these remarks, Mr. Speaker, the IFP will support the draft policy and hopes that these considerations will be taken into account as well. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Anepen. Councillor Singh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The EThekwini Municipality Indigent Draft Policy for 2025-2026 is designed to provide financial relief to low-income households by offering subsidized or free basic services such as water, electricity, and sanitation. However, there are several issues with the current draft policy that hinders its effectiveness and leaves many vulnerable residents without adequate support. One of the criteria for becoming a successful applicant under the indigent policy is the immediate installation of an electricity prepaid meter. However, this requirement raises serious concerns as there is currently no stock of electricity prepaid meters available and no contract in place to supply the city with electricity prepaid meters. This creates an impossible situation for applicants who are expected to comply with a condition that the municipality itself cannot fulfill. Furthermore, thousands of residents who have already paid for prepaid meters are still waiting for installation, some for years. This backlog highlights the systemic failure in the municipality's ability to deliver on its promises. How can new applicants be expected to receive prepaid meters when those who have already paid are still left waiting? This issue not only undermines the credibility of the indigent policy, but also places an unfair burden on residents who are already struggling financially. The municipality must urgently address the shortage of prepaid meters, finalize the necessary contracts, and clear the backlog of paid installation. Unless these steps are taken, the requirement for immediate prepaid meter installations are unrealistic and unjust. The policy often excludes households that are genuinely struggling because they do not meet the strict income or property value thresholds. Many residents who fall just above the income threshold are left without support despite facing significant financial hardship. There are reports of inconsistent application of the policy, with some qualifying residents being denied benefits due to administrative errors or lack of awareness. Corruption, mismanagement have also been cited, with some officials allegedly favoring certain applicants over others. Many residents, especially in informal settlements, are unaware of the indigent policy and the benefits it offers. The application process is often poorly explained, leading to confusion and low uptake among eligible households. Applicants often face long delays in having the applications processed, leaving them without essential services for extended periods. Bureaucratic inefficiencies and understaffing contribute to these delays. The policy does not adequately address the needs of specific vulnerable groups, such as the elderly, disabled, or child-headed households. For example, senior citizens who own properties above the threshold but rely on a small pension, which is a state pension, are often excluded from benefits. The municipality's property valuation are often inflated, disqualifying many low-income households from the indigent benefits. This overvaluation does not reflect the actual financial circumstances of residents. The benefit provided under the indigent policy are often insufficient to cover the full cost of basic services, leaving households with unaffordable bills. For example, the free basic water and electricity allocation may not meet the needs of larger households. This policy is not regularly reviewed to reflect the changing economic conditions, such as inflation or rising unemployment. This lack of updates means that the policy becomes increasingly outdated and less effective over time. Mr. Speaker, the Democratic Alliance cares for the residents in EThekwini. This policy should strive to assist the indigent in the municipality, and I hope that the officials are listening to our proposals, especially the city manager, so he can relay that to the relevant officials made today. So when they bring this policy back for approval to this council, these considerations are taken into place. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, councillors. The recommendation agreed.
Freedom Front abstains.
Right. City Manager, next item.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Page 91, item 3.1. Request for approval of EThekwini Municipality Controlled Fuels Policy. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Are the recommendation agreed? Thank you. Next item.
Honorable Speaker, we move on to item 105.
Page?
Sorry, to page 105, item number 3.
Page 105, item 3.
Request for approval in terms of section 33, subsection 1B of the Municipal Finance Management Act for the appointment of a professional service provider for contract number PSC 2017/012 for provision of consulting services for the design and construction of the upgrading of Mangosuthu University of Technology Trunk Sewer in Ward 89 and 90 for a period of 6 years. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much. There are no speakers on this item. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors? Thank you. City Manager, next item.
On page 108, it's item number 4, final adoption of
There's a hand, Councillor Kwala. Over the microphone.
Page 96, item 2, baluleke kakhulu. Khohlakele.
Yeah.
Page 96.
Item 2,
Bawutombele.
Julile.
Okay, what happened, City Manager?
It's an omission, Speaker. Please accept my apologies.
Right.
It's item 96, item 2, request for approval to increase constituency allowance for political parties. Committee recommends. Page 96, item 2, Speaker. Page 96, item 2, request for approval to increase constituency allowance for political parties.
Yes, thank you, City Manager. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors?
No.
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 Let's record that.
Speakers list. We've got speakers list.
Oh, okay. There's only one speaker. It's only you, Mama.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, our objection to this item is solely based on the fact that it doesn't make sense why you need to look for savings just to fund political parties. We understand that one big political party is failing to afford paying for staff. Now we're jumping in using ratepayers' money to fund that political party. We understand everything does increase, but the question is why can't you wait for a new budget? Why you take money away from service delivery to fund political parties? We believe if there's any increase is required, it should feature in on a new budget. Right now, EThekwini is facing a serious crisis in terms of service delivery. Now, how do we explain to ratepayers that as political parties, we are prepared to take about 3 billion rand to fund our operations while ratepayers are struggling with services? On that basis, actually say we object to this proposal. We believe 3 billion rand must come from a new budget, not the current budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, are the recognition agreed? No. No. Thank you. Let's have the screen, please. Let's have the screen. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Councillors, no movement, please. Let's close the door. We are voting. Secretariat. It's page 96. Item 2, Sompese.
Yes, item 2, Speaker.
Those who are in support of the recommendation, please raise your board. Those who are supporting the recommendations. Thank you. Those who are voting against? Those who are voting against, please raise your hands. Thank you. Those who are staying? I am, brother. Yeah, siyabonga. Thank you very much, councillors. Those who are in support of the recommendations, the number is 135. Those who voted against, the number is 7. Those who abstained, the number is 2. Therefore, the recommendations will be carried through. Thank you very much. City Manager, let's move to the next item.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The next item is on page 99, item 1.1. It's a request for in-principle approval of the municipality's non-motorized transport and environmentally friendly bylaw for public participation purposes. Committee recommends.
Speaker.
Thank you.
It is my honor to table the second report of the executive committee.
Yeah, this is the second report of the executive. Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. The report have not been tabled. Thank you for that. The City Manager have already read the item. There are 3 speakers: Councillor Z. Kuzwayo, Councillor A. Peterson, and Councillor Mkhize. Councillor Kuzwayo. Councillor Z. Kuzwayo.
Mr. Speaker, I'll be covered by my colleague.
You covered. Councillor Peterson.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm covered.
Okay. Councillor Mkhize, ANC. Right. Councillors, page 99, item 1.1. Are the recommendations agreed? City Manager, next item.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Page 105, item number 3. Request for approval in terms of section 33, subsection 1B of the MFMA for the appointment of a professional service provider for contract number PSC 2017/012 for provision of consulting services for the design and construction of the upgrading of the Mangosuthu University of Technology trunk sewer in Ward 89 and 90 for a period of 6 years. Committee recommends.
Thank you, City Manager. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors? Next item, some person.
On page 108, Honorable Speaker, item number 4, final adoption of the EThekwini Municipality's macrostructure establishment. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much. Are the recommendations agreed, councillors? Thank you. Next item.
Page 111, item number 5, Honorable Speaker. It's the update report on the heavy rainfall experienced during the months of February and March 2025. Committee recommends.
Thank you. I've got speakers on my list. Number 1 is Councillor Berthe, DA. Number 2 is Councillor Esquala, IFP. Number 3 is Councillor Z. Mngango, Action SA. Then the last speaker is from the NFP, Councillor Z. Mieni, Deputy Mayor. In that order, Councillor Berthe.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Let us start by expressing our deepest condolences to everybody that lost a loved one in the recent floods. We also want to laud the municipal services Some of them were on site very quickly, especially the emergency services, fire brigade. We were fortunate to work alongside them, and we can only laud them for their efforts. Unfortunately, not all departments were as readily available, as also depicted within this report, where some of them that should be with the joint jocks were late. As one reads through the report, one also has to express concern of how much of the 22 damages had not been repaired. How much of the 22 damages and or clearings and or cleanings had not been attended that once again gave rise to the same conditions that people experienced in 2022. In this instance, one has to think of the litter that clogged the stormwater drains. One has to think about stormwater into wastewater drains. One has to think about sand within the constraints of the stormwater system that made it very difficult to disperse. One has to look at the irregular and illegal informal settlements and the role that they played in all of this, where they have found themselves inside of floodplains, making it very difficult and also dangerous for emergency services to extract these people where they should not be staying there in the first place because we're not enforcing the bylaws. One also has to look at the city's intention of getting community volunteers to assist with the identification and or eradication of this, but the lack thereof of the consultation with the ward councillors so that we ensure that those people are indeed residents from that ward who know the area much better than people who are just co-opted from somewhere else. Another one and that's probably one of the most important, and that goes back to the infrastructure that had not been repaired or received the necessary attention since 2022. And seeing that most of this devastation was again centralized against the southern wards, and specifically Isipingo, and I'll get back why it's Isipingo, that up to date, the residents of that area still struggle with water supply on a daily basis. They still suffer with electricity supply on a daily basis. If you had to travel to that area surrounding Toyota now, I can tell you the same as what it took me the other day, an hour just to get through a street that is not even a kilometer long because of the conditions in the area. And then we see here on page 116, the relocation of Toyota SA, because they are essentially located within a floodplain, and possibly to another area of EThekwini. I don't think people really realize the role that Toyota plays in the southern economy. Because if you had to remove Toyota from the prospective area, you will effectively cut off the lifeline to the south. Because it's not only Toyota, but also the subsidiaries of Toyota that forms Prospecton and also contributes to the rate base of this EThekwini Municipality, as well as to the service charges. So by merely relocating, because the city fails to give the service delivery that it should, could actually have that whole area devastated. It's people from everywhere, from Umlazi, Lamontville, Isipingo, right down to the south, Umkomaas, and further, that are reliant on Toyota. And a mere relocation to another side of the city would mean, while you can feed the one, others are going to starve. We need to fix what we're supposed to be fixing. When we are approving money for a certain project or certain infrastructure, it must not be reprioritized somewhere else, but indeed be applied where it was requested for, so that we can actually fix and eliminate the reoccurrence. The clearing of streams, making sure that our river mouths are properly open and not obstructed, because in the last term or the last situation, the same people that had to be rescued previously had to be rescued again, because those same streams, those same culverts had to date not been fixed, The pipes were still broken, the stormwater was still in the one in the other. Why do we not just fix what we're supposed to fix? Because then we can eliminate the possibility of even losing more lives. The DA will support this 1.3 billion, quite rightly so. But can we ask that it be applied and not be put somewhere else, and then we have a reoccurrence of these tragedies that hit us? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kwala.
Thank you. Siyafisa nje ukuthi la i-report siyayinotha and siyayisupport. Kodwa ke khona indawo ezisalile engicabanga mhlawumbe ukuxhumana phakathi komnyango namakhansela kubalekile in the near future siprioritize ngoba mayifika i-report kukhona indawo ezisele kuba ngazi ukuthi khona isandla semfene kanti xosho libhekile. Siyabonga.
Thank you, Councillor Mncwango.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Speaker, mangibuka kuma recommendation. One way support report. Kodwa siyafisa ukuthi kakhulukazi le khuluma nge-review of burial assistance policy isheshe, Honorable Mayor, ngoba kunama families mhlawumbe ayazi case yakhona abakhala ukuthi amathune bewu4 kodwa ngenxa ye-budget cela ukuthi abantu abathathu basala abanye cishe yazi case yakhona baye basho nje ngayo. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi i-policy will cover those issues ngoba ngicabanga ukuthi i-restriction nakumkhandli belapho ukuthi it's not clear kwi-policy ukuthi kudilwa kanjani isimo njengaleso. So ngiyafisa ukuthi mhlawumbe ke le yale policy iphuthunyiswe khona singabi nenkinga efanayo futhi in future. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Somlom. A report is welcome. Also, we note the input by the colleagues. But I think when we look at this report, we because of the fact that it raises some of the new challenges with reference to what Councillor Mncwango said of the issue of reburial. Hence, we say the disaster management of EThekwini is under construction, because when you look at some of the recommendations here, these recommendations are the result because of these new challenges which eliminate. I also want to make it a point that when we discuss such issues as councillors, we must refrain from just politicking and deal with issues at hand, because we all understand that we are in a new normal situation where we are dealing with the climate change. But however, the committee will process some of these recommendations which are put on the table, so that as when we continue with the climate change strategy level 2 that was passed by this council, especially on the issue of mitigation strategies that are rolling out. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that, councillors. Are the recommendations agreed? Thank you. City Manager, next item. I think now we're moving on to the supplementary agenda.
Yes.
We're concluded the main agenda.
Yes, we are on the supplementary agenda and we will request His Worship to table the third report.
Yes. Your Worship, please table the...
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's my honor again to table the fourth Executive Committee report.
Thank you. City Manager.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Page 3. Item 1 is the report of Economic Development and Planning Committee from their meeting, which was held on the 30th of the 3rd, 2025, item 1.1. A request for authority to enter into a new memorandum of agreement between the city's Footbev CETA and Asime Women Non-Profit Company for the implementation of the ongoing new venture creation NVC Business Management Level 4 program funded through the Footbev CETA grant. Committee recommends.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Councillor Zetnduli from DA, you are number 1. Councillor B. Ndlovu, ANC, you are number 2. Those are only 2 speakers on this item. Councillor Nduli.
Thank you, Speaker. Good afternoon, colleagues. This initiative is commendable and aligned with the values of the DA, which firmly supports any efforts that provide opportunities and skills to our youth. These opportunities must be communicated to every young person, especially in our townships, where many remain unemployed and spend time doing nothing at home. The advertising team must take decisive action to ensure this information reaches the community, including distributing flyers in local tuck shops to assist those who lack access to data or funds from newspapers. Furthermore, the selection process must prioritize inclusivity by ensuring that young people with disabilities are given equal opportunities. They deserve the same chances as anyone else. And it is our responsibility to advocate for their inclusion. DA supports the item. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Ntuli. Councillor Pinjovu, ANC.
Honorable Speaker, I think there's an error there. It's Councillor Shomuka who's speaking on the item.
Okay. But unegama lakho la. Okay. Councillors, are the recommendation agreed? Thank you. City Manager, next item.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Next item is on page 21. It's item number 2.3. Request for authority to transfer funds within water and sanitation capital budget in the 24-25 financial year. Committee recommends.
Okay. Let's begin now. Does it gonna ikhulumi? Page 21. Item 2.3 Sompisa.
Yes, sir.
One speaker, Councillor Kavenda, DA. Councillor Kavenda. We are on page 21, item 2.3. Covered.
Thank you, Speaker. I am covered. I did have a query on this, but it's been resolved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillors, are the recommendation agreed? Thank you. Next item, City Manager.
Next item is page 56, item 3.9, Speaker. It's the budget statement report for the month ended 28 Feb 2025. Committee recommends.
Page 56, huh?
Yes.
Item 3.9, two speakers, Councillor McPherson and Councillor Sinling. McPherson.
Thank you, Speaker. We'll start off with a number of 15 billion. 15 billion rand is the EWS debt. For 15 billion of the 37 billion outstanding debt, uncollected debt, is EThekwini Water Services alone. Now we've spoken